reviewing. I'm going to be doing six live streams today on YouTube. So let's go. And in the first live stream, the first live comic book review, we're going to be looking at three very cool looking comics. We're going to have a look at, the first comic that we're having a look at is issue number 1968, The Phantom, The Boy Detectives. We're going to be having a look at the issue number, The Phantom 1969, Enter the Phantom. And finally, our third comic for this first live stream of 6 live streams today. We're live streaming probably all day today. We're going to go with number 3, The Phantom, issue number 1970, The Stolen Rings plus Bad Blood in Bengala, part 4. So I hope you enjoy this live comic book reviews all day long on Sunday. What day is it? Sunday the 15th of December. Or if you're catching us up on the replay, I hope you enjoy looking at these very, very magnificent, amazing Phantom comic books. Let's have a look. Let's get into it. The first comic of 36 pages, The Boy Detectives. The Boy Detectives was wrote by Don Avenell, and the art was supplied by the artist Georges Bess. The story was first published by Egmont Scandinavia, Phantoman, in issue number 20 from 1982, The Phantom, The Boy Detectives. It starts off like this. The great detective just smiled and said, "Elementary, my dear Watson." "Keep reading, Rex." "Keep reading, Brad." "Anyway, I'm tired of reading now. Let's play detectives. I'll be Sherlock Holmes as you would be, Rex. Uncle Walker found this pipe and hat for me in the treasure room, and then a magnifying glass to look for clues with. Aha! Footprints. The track leads into the skull cave. Yes, of course, Rex, we know how to track footprints. Quiet. We're detectives, right? Sherlock Holmes is following the hot trail of footprints." It's not like hot cross buns, but footprints, yes. "There's the suspect in the radio room. Yes, a pygmy could never have made those footprints. Quiet, boys. Continue, Colonel Werribee. We need proof to get the man, Commander." "Let me take care of that, Colonel. I'll get you the evidence over and out." "That was the head of the Jungle Patrol you were talking to, correct, Uncle Walker?" "Yes, Rex. If you are investigating any crime, then we can help." I doubt that. But we all know how to investigate when you're a detective. Sorry, Rex, this isn't a game. This is the real thing. Sherlock Holmes is a great character in the book, but he'd be useless against real criminals. Thinking logically, the Phantom is. I think Uncle Walker is wrong, if only we could prove it in some way. But where can a great detective find real criminals out here in the jungle? Twack. The answer to Rex's question is the Wambesi village on the edge of the deep woods. That very evening, it must be midnight. The guard is sleeping. I hope so. I put the sleeping pills in the water bottle. We're just about to go to sleep. I apologize for that snoring. Jungle rumors say there should be at least a large treasure somewhere here in the village. Treasures? Huh? I don't know what you mean. They call it primitive art, Croc. Clay pots, wood carvings, I'd call it junk. These are treasures to the natives, and the Pasha can sell them for the big money in America. Yes, the Pasha pays us well, but it certainly makes plenty from us too. And from that, they go back to their car with a swag full of treasures that aren't owned by them. They're owned by the natives, by a tribe of Wambezi people. In the clearing, one pygmy and a little boy. This is our deadliest weapon, Ricky. The Bandar's bow. Two pygmies are learning how to use the poisoned arrows of the Bandar pygmy tribe people. But you must learn how to use it well if you want to become a warrior when you grow up. A poisoned arrow. The boy is shot at us. I hit the target, Dad. Idiot, he aimed at the tree, and now we have our chance. Don't move or you're dead. What? What do you want? I just want some cooperation, otherwise the boy here dies. The jungle man, cooperates because he knows if he does not have a cooperation, he does not have a choice. His son will be dead, unfortunately. The jungle man makes a not great so deal with the bad people. He goes back into the treasure cave of the skull cave, of the cave that lies the ghost who walks. And so he says, so I have to steal. I should have reminded Wobo to come and get me if there's a call from the radio room. Wobo, where is he? My heart is willing, but my hands don't want to obey. Clang. What? Guren! What are you doing here in the treasure room, Wobo? Don't ask me. This is evil, but it must be done. Are you stealing from our friend? Don't try to stop me. Oof. Traitor! I dare not explain. He goes back to the horrible man, and he goes back with a ring. Guren sends warriors to try and find him. Whilst all that is happening, Rex and the jungle little people are on looking for a case to solve. They find some bad man and a ring that so happens to fall into the wrong hands. The bad men go back to their car. The Phantom is on the case. He's now saying, the bad men say, what's this now? A rider. It's Uncle Walker. Rex and the jungle people, little jungle people, are stowed away in the bad man's car. What are you doing here? Is that your car? What do you have to ask questions in that ridiculous costume? He looks like he means business, Inky. Don't argue with him. Kill him! Bang! The bullet hit Hero. No more shooting, Croc. We must get out of here. They get out of here. They cause even more mischief. They go back to Mortuan, and Rex fall victim to another deadly trap. They are now hooked up into a web of treasures and disguises. A web so devilishly the Phantom is coming for his ring, for the Solomon diamond ring. The ring gets taken to an antique dealer. The Phantom has a little word with him, and the antique dealer says, I'll keep this diamond ring for myself. We'll talk about it later. That later never comes. That later will end up with the Phantom. And the Phantom is coming. He's coming. He's coming for you. Rex and the jungle little people are able to escape their bindings. They go into the nearest harbour. Luckily, we don't have to go through the barber shop. The basement opens onto the harbour. What should we do about the thieves? Report them to the police? We could do that. But Sherlock Holmes had never sought hope, never sought help from the police. He always solved his cases himself with a lot of hope and a lot of braveness. They go onto a ship where the Phantom is about to deal out a hot plate of justice to the bad people. He gets his ring back. He goes back to the jungle knowing that the bad men are now scapegoat in their own deadly web of rope and deceit. Wobo tells the story of how and why he needed the ring, and also now returns the ring back to its rightful place in the treasure room. And he says, the ring is back in its proper place, and the band are again a proud people. I was wrong in one thing, Rex, and you and Bongo and Tom Tom were very helpful for me in catching the thieves. Rex and the Jungle Little People, Bongo and Tom Tom, actually did the Phantom a good service in actually trying to figure out, like, sort of clearing up the last little bits of the puzzle that the Phantom needed to fill out his jigsaw puzzle of how to tackle this case, and they really did help. If you actually read the story, I've read the story. If you read the story and if you have this comic book and this story, you'll actually see why, because it's a great story. And I think one of the reasons why it's a great story is because it doesn't just have the Phantom as the main character. There's I think the large part of this story is aimed at Rex, Bongo, and Tom Tom, and their interest in trying to solve a case like the Phantom would, but as Sherlock Holmes and the sidekick that he has. Watson. There we go. So that's the end of the first comic book. And if you want to subscribe to the Phantom, be like the Colonel and subscribe to the Phantom for $208 per year, and you can find out where you can do that at subscribe online at www.phantomcomic.com.au. And you can find out more about subscribing to the Phantom directly via Few Publications website. I've done it before. It's a great way to be able to get your comics. If you do not have a local news agency that stocks the Phantom anymore, it's still a great way to receive your Phantom comics on a fortnightly basis. And also, they come out a couple of days, that you receive your comics earlier than what the news agency does. They come out probably a couple of days before the news agency receives them and it gets released. And yeah, it's really, really cool. You just got to watch out for, if you buy your Phantom comics from the news agency, you just got to watch out for Anthony Gill when he posts the covers up on Facebook. That's the only thing. And so, Few Publications last year, was it? Last year or this year? No, it was last year. They published the 75th anniversary, Few Publications, The Phantom, in issue number 1952. It's going for $25, and you can get that at www.phantomcomic.com.au if you want to. Always up to you if you want some more Phantom comics. We got the Phantom issue number 1969, Enter the Phantom. I talked about this comic earlier in the year, and Enter the Phantom is the second time a comic book and a story has been titled at the same name as the original story. Enter the Phantom. Second time it's been used in publication on the Phantom. 36 pages. Created the story, this sequel / prequel, / everything else. This story was created by Matt Kime and delves into references from Lee Falk, because Lee Falk is legendary. He is the legend that created the Phantom back in 1936. And just have a look at that art. Like, I now know, I read it, and I now know why we waited for so long for this story from Matt Kime, because it just, look how great, look at the effort, look at the pulpness. Look at the 1930s pulpness. And the story starts in 1921 in Sandra Trove. Prince Ahmad, Prince Ahmad, you must get up. You have to flee. What? What is happening? Where is my father? Oh, on his ship, waiting for you. We must leave immediately. To arms, men. The Phantom is here. Come quickly. We are doomed. The Phantom will kill us all. What's happening? What's happening? Who is the Phantom? There is no time. Look, your father's ship. Quickly, now. Hurry now. Boom, kalablam. And I think with this story, when it starts out this particular way, I think it just shows a different perspective from the Singh's Brotherhood standpoint. When the Phantom comes and visits them, comes and pays them a friendly visit, and then blows everything up because he already knows that they're doing something very, very wrong and that they shouldn't be doing, and blows everything up. It's a different standpoint for a perspective from the Singh Brotherhood's perspective, when all their islands start to go blam and they get exploded and they get destroyed. It's all evacuating stations, and it's a different perspective, and different perspective, but especially since this is how the story is starting. I just wanted to get that out. It may have taken us a little while, but yeah, we're here now. And then he says, you must be silent, young master. The ghost who walks comes. Be still, or he will destroy us all. Blame. Leave this island, leave. Privacy, never return. The Phantom warning only once. Yes, sir, ghost who walks. We swear it. But really? Do you? Do you just say that like you're sorry, but you're not, and you'll do it some other time when it all calms down and the storm goes away? Probably so. Those cowards, why don't they fight him? Why don't you kill him? No, master, the man who cannot die cannot be defeated. It's not true. I don't believe it. Shoot the Phantom. I order you. Blam, blam, blam. He's been shot in the back. Who else is there? Who dares refuse the Phantom? Please don't kill me. Ghost who walks. Spare me, please. Hear me, child. Centuries ago, I swore an oath on the skull of the pirate to destroy privacy, greed, and cruelty. I spare you today, but beware, my wrath is you if you return to evil. Ghost who walks, man who cannot die. You there, more room for your prince? Your Excellency, flee for your lives. I will destroy this entire island. Your brotherhood is no more. Run, get out of here, now. This isn't good. Losing blood here, fast. Still, must complete mission of at any cost. Must stay conscious a little longer. Father, help me carry out your work. As the boat sails through the rough seas, a kid starts to tear up, knowing he may have been killed. Knowing that he's been spared and that his father is now no more. dramatic circumstances, that sort of feels like how the first Phantom's father died, but in different circumstances altogether. This guy's father exploded on impact on their ship. The Phantom's father, sort of the same, but the son survived. Both sons survive, which is very interesting when you really think about it. And then the island goes kaboom. The Phantom sails back. He rows back. He's losing consciousness. He makes it back days later, the deep woods. He'll be alright, mother. He will, sob. He will. Kit. Mama, is daddy alright? Yes, son. He's weak, but he'll survive. He always pulls through. He is calling for you. In 1936, the deep woods of Bengala. Kit, everyone is waiting. I'm sorry, great friend, but this is the moment. This is your moment. Are you ready, Kit? Yes, Guran, I'm ready. The Phantom is dead. Long live the Phantom. Enter the Phantom. Story by Matt Kime and Lee Falk. Art by Matt Kime, inspired by the three legends, Ray Moore, Cy Barry, and Wilson McCoy. Lettering by Graham Jackson. The Phantom is dead. Long live the Phantom. The Phantom is dead. Long live the Phantom. In 1936 Clarksville. I should feel like home. I carry a burden now. I didn't have this last time I was here. I've changed. My whole world has changed. That's the door, Lucy. Are we expecting someone? Are you expecting someone? Not today. I wonder who it could be. Kit. I still love these people. That much has never changed. He comes home to the USA after his father has just passed away and carries a burden back with him. In order for him to move on, he needs to be able to do some work. And his first mission, or job, you could say, as the Phantom is trying to take down a smuggling ring that has wound itself really into the high-end type of people. They are all in this clutches of evil, and the commissioner is trying to stop it. He's meddling in the wrong stuff, and in doing so, he's putting himself in danger. Excuse me, Captain, can I talk to you? What is it, Foley? What's this? How dare they conduct their dirty business here, right under my nose? Gentlemen, haven't you ever heard that if you lie down with the dogs, you wake up with you wake up with fleas? How many of you are in Horgan's grimy pocket? In his pocket? It's not like that, Captain. We're just talking, and in doing so, we don't want you to be messing with our business. He ends up messing with his business. Diana is on that ship, that fateful, famous ship, that in doing so, there's another narrative to that. Because she's on the ship. She's on the ship because they can use Diana in the ship as a bargaining code to try and get what they want. They can try and kidnap her to try and get what they want in return for Diana Palmer Walker, and maybe if she doesn't end up leaving that ship, maybe there's no Phantom and Diana Palmer Walker, there's no wedding in 1977, maybe there's nothing. Maybe she does end up getting off this ship. I decide to make my presence known, shake things up, use my father's tactics and his father's before him. The real enemy hasn't shown its face yet, and it won't unless I draw it out. I make them look over their shoulders, remind them the phantom is watching, remind them what fear is, and let it spread like wildfire. Then they'll smoke out the big fish and get justice for Dad. And in doing so, Commissioner David, Uncle Dave, is putting himself in a more and more dangerous circumstances. Blakey obviously isn't telling the truth. This phantom is brazen. Whoever he is he in competition with Horgan's criminal organization? What is his angle? Now, as I was reading like the little text boxes and every sort of clue that we were getting about the story, about what it was like, about how they were describing what was going on in the story, I first thought it was him narrating the story, but later on it felt like one person was saying something and another person was saying something, and then towards the back end of the story we found that the phantom was actually the person narrating the whole damn thing. And it was massive. It was huge. It was a really good story. Just that a couple of the panels just didn't do it. There's one particular panel, and it's from a reference shot, a very famous reference shot from Cy Barry. The phantom, crack. Lousy coward, must keep focused. Finally seeing the phantom almost shooks me as much as the yellow bullies he's poleaxing. Because Uncle Dave doesn't know the phantom at the moment, doesn't know who he knows who Mr. Walker is, but he doesn't know who the phantom is. And he doesn't know that because he's not in with Diana Palmer Walker. They don't even meet until I think the they meet in this story, around this time period, but they don't actually have anything to do with anyone for at least, there's a common occurrence around every couple of years. It's a recurring character, becomes a recurring character, Diana does. And then in the 1977 is the year Diana Palmer Walker marries the Phantom. And that's when it all starts to get a bit more hurried along a little bit more. But Uncle Walker and Uncle Dave and Mr. Walker don't really know each other. They know he knows Mr. Walker, but he doesn't know the other side of Mr. Walker, the Phantom side. Stop. Don't shoot. That's an order. Take him alive. Don't run. They'll shoot. Call them off. Can't do it, son. Not all these men can be trusted. Come peacefully or they will kill you. I'm outnumbered and outgunned. My only hope is Palmer, but can I trust him? Diana. Palmer. There's no time. Diana is in justice. Diana is in danger. I need all available units to meet the SS Trotter. I wait. Fats Horgan and any of his associates spotted with him brought in. The Trotter is targeted for hijacking. Now where exactly do you fit in on all this, mystery man? I am a friend. What about those cops you just sent to Diana? How many of them can you vouch for? Ha, You think I vouch for you? I don't even know who you are. You know I can save Diana. Right now, I don't know what to think. You can't trust your men. You said it yourself. And I can trust you. You have to. There is too much to lose. Uncuff me, please. And just like that, with nothing more than a grain of hope, I let a Marx vigilante go. The gamble of my career, no, of my life. As soon as he disappeared out of that car and into the shadows, I worried I'd made the worst decision of my life. Turns out my instincts that day were right. You do promise not to scream, Fats. Listen, whoever you are, I have spoken to Diana. She has told me all about your heroics out on the trotter. You saved her life. I don't know how to thank you for. Don't mention it. The job not done yet. Let's hear what Fats has to say. Fats spills the bean on Blakely. The Singh Brotherhood pirates. Everything we need to know and more. It's amazing what fear can do to a man. I notice it again. That flinch my mysterious new ally makes when the Singh are mentioned. A raw nerve, I guess. I also don't mention that distinctive accent he occasionally forgets to mask. I'd like to get to the bottom of that, and many other mysteries, but my new friend is a closed book. I don't pry. For the most part, Horgan's story matches Diana's, and he and his men tried to muscle her out of the Ember Gorillas. Guess they hadn't count on her moxie. Then our mysterious friend arrived on the scene and turned their plan on its head, turned it definitely up on outside the rim. Fats starts dreaming again. I turn to the Phantom, and he is gone, vanished like a ghost. Later, outside Diana's window, and on the roof, Owens. He's going in now, ready with that rope. Prince Ahmed. That seems like a familiar person. Prince Ahmed. Ooh, the Phantom's gonna have some absolute real good tussle with him. Prince Ahmed. If she's harmed, I'll never forgive myself. Suddenly, silently, an arm of steel encroaches his throat. Half strangled, he stares in a speechless terror of the death's head. Signet, ring, the sign of the Phantom, the beginning. Now, just like that, and like that just makes me wonder if we're going to be having another new story by Matt Klein for next year in 2025. Because if this story is anything to go off, I reckon we're going to get something else in the future. Something else that involves the Phantom absolutely taking out and bringing in a lesson for Prince Ahmed. Because as we have seen before, and as we've seen earlier in the story, the Phantom said, if you ever get into... let me find it. If you ever get back into evil, if you ever turned your face to evil, let me say here. Ghost who walks, spare me, please. Hear me, child. Centuries ago I swore an oath on the skull of the pirate to destroy privacy, creed, and cruelty. I spare you today, but beware my wrath if you return to evil. So there we go. Are we going to be seeing another new story like this? Pardon me. Are we going to be seeing another new story like this from Matt Klein, featuring Prince Ahmed getting an absolute, either getting destroyed or he somehow falls back into going into the evil like we saw in the last page of this book? Will we see another story like this in the future? I'm hoping so, because this story was good, although a couple of the panels were off just a tiny little bit. They felt off just a tiny little bit. I don't know why. It just was me. I'm not sure. But I did enjoy reading this story. And the cover, I wasn't sure about to start with, but I'm starting to like it more and more. All the colors, the different color choices, and all the stuff that's happening on the front cover and what's happening on the back cover, it just makes it so right. It makes it look really, really cool. It's a very, very cool wrap around cover. Like, have a look at this. Look at that. That's awesome. That just looks like a poster. Looks like it's supposed to be on a poster. Really, really cool. Really, really cool. Really, really good job by Miss Marcelo Bates. That's who did the cover for it. Now we have our third comic and our third story. We have The Phantom, issue number 1970, The Stolen Rings, plus Bad Blood in Benguela, part 4. Our cover artist that has supplied us with the cover today, if you cannot reminisce, if you cannot guess, it is Jason Paulos. I love this cover very, very much. I love this wraparound cover. It's so good. So let's get into the story. The Phantom, Stolen Rings. The story has been written by Klaus Ray Murphy. The art has been provided by Daniel Muller and Anthony Spey. Raise a toast for my beloved son, Beauregard, on his 21st birthday. This story was first published by Egmont Scandinavia in Phantom and 24, number 24 from the year 2020. And in this story, the Phantom is on he's on an adventure, and he's trying to solve a case. And in doing so, another guy who is out gambling his life away, trying and make pretty much destroying his life by using gambling as a tool to get better for his life, to get his life a bit more greater. He's bonked on the head. The Phantom wants to try and save him, wants to make sure he's going alright, but in doing so, the Phantom gets knocked over the head himself, and the guy who he was trying to be nice to, trying to be good to, steals one of his rings. He steals one of his rings. The Phantom is left on the side, on the walk path, the pathway, and the guy that leaves him there is an absolute coward. He's an absolute coward. That's a cowardly act. He wears the rings like he owns them, and he doesn't really. And people assume that because he's got the rings, he killed the Phantom, but really he didn't. The Phantom tried to help him, but in doing so, got the other end of the stick. The Phantom is unconscious for days on end. The Phantom wakes and notices, my rings are missing. Where did I put them? I'm sure I had them last time. So he goes tracking down the person who stole his rings. And then in another way to this story, another way that it evolves, another guy gets tangled up in this. And another guy who's tangled up in this has a lot to do with the Wambezi village. And he goes back to the village and says, "Thus a spark is ignited. He's now threatening one of the natives and says, 'Free the Obuku tribe has gone mad. Search the huts for gold.' And so the Phantom Piece is at an absolute reckoning. It could be the last time we ever hear of this peaceful talkness. The Phantom, without his rings, wants his rings and his rightful ownership back. He fights for his rings, he gets his rings back, and eventually, with his rings, we brought an end to this coward and his other friends who are made to work in the crops. A few weeks later, I am glad that the Council of the Chiefs chose to show mercy. A few years of farm hard work will do them good. I think Altness honestly regrets his actions. If he wishes to stay with us with the punishment, he's welcome. The white man, on the other hand, not so much. Later, strange how the rings seem to have magical powers. Powers that can be abused if they end up in the wrong hands. I promise to make sure that this will never ever happen again. And that is the end of that story. That story went for 24 pages. And now we have The Bad Blood in Bengala Part 4 by Shane Foley. Wrote by Shane Foley, art by Shane Foley. Everything is done by Shane Foley. Shane Foley. Shane. Beyond Part 4, Beyond the Tessai Trail. Welcome, O ghost who walks. He awakes from his drowsiness. Yes, I'm afraid the sleeping powder has been used again. The Tessai sleeping powder is a very dangerous tool, ending up in the wrong hands. Not used by us, I swear. We have kept our word. Tell me what happened. Our friend, Dr. Clark, arrived unexpectedly. She seemed nervous. With her was a most handsome and unusual stranger. Dr. Clark, you are very welcome. Chief, may I introduce Carlos of the Golden People? I've helped you in the past. Now I ask that you help these Golden People. People, listen. Please listen to this man and consider his request. Greetings, great king. I am here to ask that you honor the great ancient custom. Many years ago, my people traded with yours, to maintain our seclusion by using the fungus of sleep that is harvested in your caves. We wish to be able to trade again for the powder it yields. My people may use it once more to shield ourselves from the uninvited. And then the uninvited returns and says, so my initial answer is to refuse. No, we cannot use it. It's forbidden. Its use leads to corruption, but we will talk further. Yeah, twerk. Oh, no, we won't. We get the goods now. There is pressure. There is restraint. But they give the powder away. These guys take the powder. They are wanting to use it for mass destruction. They are wanting to abuse it. And before they leave, they say, ha, suckers, and they leave with a trail of dynasty. They leave with a trail of destruction on beyond the Tessai Trail. Continued in the Watanga path. And that's how this story, 2 stories, end. just look at that cover by Jason Borlos. It is amazing, it is fantastic, and just another reason how you need to try and look for his signature, because sometimes you just don't know where it is. It's like looking for a Glenn Ford signature in the 90s, 2000s, 90s, around there. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, I hope you enjoyed having a look at these 3 really cool Phantom comics. Some really great stories in these comics. And as always, if you are catching us up on the replay, or if you're watching this after this is gone live, I will say thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this really great comic book review. And as always, keep Phantom Caving, stay safe, and there is more live comic book reviews coming up soon on the channel. Bye!